Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, November 6th. Right now, taking a look at the AFC South, the Jaguars are currently in control, right? The AFC South, though, it is a fun division once again, both right now and long term. I think you look at what's going on in the AFC South, there's at least a couple teams making some noise. Long term, you definitely have a lot of young talent. I think you have a lot of good coaching staffs overall. I think every coaching staff in the AFC South definitely brings some good things to the table. And again, the young talent, especially at quarterback, is looking really good right now. So I think the AFC South can be fun for a long time. But this is the Jaguars division right now. And as long as they handle their business down the stretch in 2023, it's going to stay that way, at least, again, for 2023. And again, we're going to take a look around the division here as the Jaguars are coming out of their bye week. It's kind of the halfway point in the season. We're going to take a look around the AFC South, see where things stand right now. Obviously, you have to start with the Jaguars, who are on top at 6-2, winners of 5 straight games. Their offense is starting to come around a little bit. Their defense is playing lights out, one of the very best defenses in the NFL, both against the run and the pass as a complete unit. They're forcing turnovers better than anyone else in the league right now. They have some key players on both sides of the ball, the Jaguars do, set to come back from injury pretty soon here. They have an upgrade coming in via trade on the offensive line in Ezra Cleveland, who's a very good run blocker and pass blocker, a guy who's always kind of looking for work, looking to get dirty, and a very good athlete, a guy who has worked with Jaguars OL coach Phil Rauscher already. And things are looking good for the Jaguars overall. Everything is on the up and up so far in Jacksonville right now. Again, winners of 5 straight games. The offense, as we've all talked about, there's still some improving to do. Maybe at times the offensive play calling is a little too horizontal, but I think you can definitely point back at the Jaguars pass pro a little bit in terms of why that might be the case. You want to get the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands quickly so he's not getting hit by the opposing defensive line. And so I do think there's going to be some horizontal elements to this offense regardless of what the offensive line is doing, but maybe there's been a little bit more horizontal elements to the offense with the way the Jaguars had been in pass pro, and I think that's part of why you did see Ezra Cleveland come in via trade here. So I do think even with the offense and maybe being a little too horizontal, maybe not taking enough deep shots down the field, I still think that this offense, and again, with some of the guys coming back, with Ezra Cleveland coming in, has an extremely high ceiling in 2023. And as a team, again, they have won 5 straight games. They have won 13 of their last 17 regular season games. This last calendar year, they are 13-4. This is a coaching staff doing their job at an extremely high level, a group of players doing their job at a high level, Trevor Lawrence getting the job done, again, at a very high level at quarterback. It's a good team. Offense, defense, quarterback, head coach, offensive coordinator, I think is doing a good job. I think Press Taylor has been much maligned, and I think it's really quite unfair, to be completely honest with you. I do not think that Press Taylor has done a bad job as the Jaguars offensive coordinator and play caller this year. Again, I think there's been some different things that have impacted his ability to push the ball down the field from a play calling standpoint. I think you're going to continue to see it improve throughout the remainder of the year. And again, just plenty of talent on both sides of the ball. Great coaching at the top, great coaching throughout the ranks, good quarterback. I mean, this is a recipe for success, a recipe for long-term sustained success. The Jaguars have it. Big home test, of course, this weekend against the San Francisco 49ers, who have lost 3 straight games but are still extremely dangerous, one of the best overall rosters and coaching staffs in the NFL, in my opinion. We'll talk about that game more as the week goes on. But the Jaguars, they are atop the AFC South at 6-2. They are in control of their own destiny within this division. The Texans, though, a very fun football team as well. They're 4-4 right now. They're definitely moving in the right direction as a young team, first-year head coach, rookie quarterback, a lot of newness. They are not consistent yet on both sides of the ball. They're still extremely young. But on their best days, they can smack you, especially on offense. The Jaguars experienced it in week 3. They can get the job done at a high level. Still, though, they barely beat the Bucs, despite scoring 39 points, whatever it was. They lost to the Panthers a week ago, a team that has not beaten a lot of teams this year. They lost to the Falcons a couple weeks ago. So they're still trying to find consistency. the Houston Texans are. But again, at their best, they can hang with anyone, in my opinion. And CJ Stroud is absolutely the real deal. He's a top 10 quarterback right now for me. If I was starting a football team today, had to go out and get a quarterback, CJ Stroud would be among the top 10 guys I would want on my team. And even in the games they lose where he doesn't put up crazy numbers, he's still doing some things that you just kind of sit there and just say, wow, this is a rookie quarterback? I mean, that's how good CJ Stroud is. From a mental standpoint, operational standpoint, his arm, awesome football player for the Houston Texans. And this is the type of young team that I could see pushing the Jaguars if the Jaguars do not handle their business down the stretch. I love the Texans' young quarterback. I think that their coaching staff is fantastic. You know, Bobby Slowick doing a really good job on the offensive side of the ball. DeMeco Ryans, a defensive guru, a leader at head coach. I love a lot of their young talent as well. So they're a dangerous football team. There's no doubt about it. Not only in 2023, but long term for sure. The Jaguars, they play them in 3 weeks in Houston. That should be a very big football game. Hopefully, if the Jaguars take care of business between now and then, it will not be a game to decide who's in first place in the AFC South. But it should be a big game within the context of this division in 2023. Maybe the biggest game in the division in 2023. And look, even if the Texans do not catch the Jaguars this year, which I'm not predicting them to, I think the Jaguars will win the division. The Texans could absolutely push for a wild card spot if they are not able to win the division. So they're a dangerous football team. Well coached, really good young quarterback. They're feeling good about themselves. They're still trying to find consistency on both sides of the ball, though. There's no doubt about that. Looking at the Colts, they're right behind the Texans right now. They're 4-5. They're not out of it. But sans Anthony Richardson the rest of the year, it just doesn't quite feel like they have enough juice to be consistent enough to really push. But they are plucky. They are a tough team. They are well coached. I really like what Shane Steichen has brought to the table. Obviously, Gus Bradley is still there as their defensive coordinator, which comes with some positives and some negatives, no doubt about it. Their defense absolutely has dudes up front. Their running game is getting going a little bit. Josh Downs is really emerging as a rookie receiver for them. They could give some teams some problems week in and week out. I just think they're an Anthony Richardson away from really pushing in 2023. And unfortunately, we're not going to get to see that until 2024 with Anthony Richardson's injury. So I just don't really see the Colts pushing as much as I can see the Texans pushing the Jaguars if the Jaguars slip up here and there, which I expect the Jaguars to come out and look like the team that they have been for most of the last year under Doug Peterson with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. So I do not see the Jaguars slipping up, but they do have some tough games ahead on their schedule. We'll see how it plays out. And then the Titans, they're at the bottom of the division right now. They're 3-5 currently. Obviously not out of it from a mathematical standpoint, but are they going to be able to make a push for the playoffs? We'll see. The Jaguars play them twice down the stretch. Those are going to be big. The Titans, I think they have 5 of their 6 division games left to play. So if they can handle their business against some divisional opponents, some familiar opponents, we'll see how that plays out for them. The jury is still out for me on quarterback Will Levis, what he can be in this league, but he absolutely brings juice. You cannot deny that. He brings a lot more juice than they have had at that position in a long time. My question is not about his arm talent. Unbelievably strong arm. You know, a guy that brings size, physicality, enough athleticism to get some things done. Obviously a huge arm. My question is, from an operational standpoint, can he win football games from within the pocket? You know, progressing through his reads, managing the pocket. You know, the more basic parts of being a quarterback, but the stuff that you need to do to be an effective and efficient NFL quarterback, right? The operational things. Can he do that consistently when teams force him to stay in the pocket and teams kind of take away the deep ball? We'll see. I think the jury's still out. I think that if I was a Titans fan, I'd be excited about what I've seen so far. Again, the kid has the juice. There's no doubt about it. The Titans, OL, though, they've been awful. Absolutely awful. That really hurts. Derrick Henry, for me, is still Derrick Henry. He's still a guy that can absolutely beat the crap out of you. And he can race past you on the outside zone looks. He can run through you as well. So Derrick Henry is going to be a problem for some teams, no doubt about it. But looking at the Titans, their run defense, still tough as nails. Pass defense, not as good as I expected it to be in 2023. And I just don't see them as a team that's going to be making a run for the playoffs. Certainly not to win the division, but not even for a wild card spot at this point. You do never know with Mike Vrabel coach football teams because he is an incredible coach, a great motivator, a great tactician on the defensive side of the ball. But I just don't see it happening, and I really did hate them moving on from Kevin Byard for basically pennies on the dollar. Obviously, as someone who covers the Jaguars and a Jaguars fan, yeah, get Kevin Byard out of this division. I think every quarterback in the AFC South can be excited about not having to face Kevin Byard, right? But from a Titans perspective, I think getting rid of him for a couple day 3 picks and a replacement level safety, I just don't see the direction really. I don't see why you're going to do that if you're Rand Carthen, their new GM, but we'll get into that more later on, in the offseason. What do they do with those picks? How does that work out for the Titans, obviously? But they're 3-5. Again, just don't see them making a run to the playoffs this year. But Mike Vrabel is always a wild card. So wrapping up this division, the Jaguars, again, 6-2 atop the division. Texans relatively close at 4-4. Colts not too far behind at 4-5. Titans 3-5. Not too far back, not mathematically eliminated, but it feels like the Jaguars are the class of the division right now. And if anyone is going to challenge that, it's going to be the Houston Texans here in 2023. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Let me know what you think about the current state of the AFC South. You can also follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.